Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment of the weekend show. We'll be discussing more ways to entrench the rule of law in our democracy. As Nigeria continues to celebrate 22 years of uninterrupted democracy, the question of separation of powers by the three arms of government and rule of law has left Nigerians wondering what a true democracy really involves. From assault on judicial officers to lockdown of the National Assembly on some occasions, this past few weeks, lawyers have bemoaned the lack of access to the High Court as the trial of Nnamdi Kanu has begun. The NSAS memorial also saw the assault on several journalists as well. On today's program, we'll be discussing the rule of law and separation of powers in a real democracy. Joining us to discuss this, we have
Dario Owolabi, a constitutional lawyer, and Catch Ononoju, a political strategist. Welcome to the weekend show, sirs.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Dari, we only have, the both of you are very knowledgeable on this subject matter, but we only have 30 minutes to do this justice. So briefly, can you give me your opinion and assessment on how well Nigeria is doing to separate the different arms of government and ensure that each arm is doing its job and functioning independently?
Clearly, there is no separation of power in Nigeria. Of course, our laws, the Constitution provides for separation of powers, but in practice, we don't have that.
Why is that?
Because of the actors, political actors on stage. I mentioned something close to this the last time I was there. The attitude of those who lead us is very important to the observance of the provisions of our laws. If you come to the stage as an interested party, interested, of course, your interest could be in one of these two, either personal interest or people's interest. If your interest is in personal interest, of course, you won't see anything. Oh, we are alive to what happened to the Supreme Court, to the CJN, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, about 4 years ago. An ex parte order, a very strange practice in law, was used to remove a head of an arm of government. Do you know, let me tell you something interesting. We hear often that the president is number one, the vice president is number two, the Senate president is number three, the speaker is number four. It is a fallacy. There is no number one in Nigeria by our law. The president is number one in the executive arms of government. The Senate president is number one in the legislative arms of government. The CJN is number one in the judicial arm of government. They have equal powers. And there is this thing you call check and balances, as provided by our laws. But when you have a single individual controlling the police, the army, the DSS, all the security agents in Nigeria, and he solely appoints them without, he funds them from the account of the executive without hindrance. What do you expect? What do you expect? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is a fallacy to think that somebody is number one in Nigeria. There's nobody that is called number one. The president, I will repeat it again, is the number one man in the executive arms of government. And his duties, obligations, rights are spelled out in the law. The same thing applicable to the Senate president. So also the CJN. But we saw it clearly. An ex parte order was used to remove a CJN. And what happens is today. We're talking about whether we have separation of power. Of course, it's not in practice in Nigeria. It's in our statute book, but it's not in practice.
You know, interestingly, when I was in secondary school and they taught us government, they always spoke about rule of law and no one is above the law. But Catch, I've seen over time and over several administrations, the executive tried to detach itself from the actions of law enforcement agencies and different governments. So we saw the likes of Daily Trust shut down. I mean, the last administration, just last year, our station AIT here was shut down and we had to go to court. We saw, like you said, the Supreme Court judges who were assaulted and attacked by law enforcement agencies. And so it's across board in the last 22 years, which is almost not very different from what we saw in the military era. Different parties, same strategies, same story. What do we need to do, especially as a political strategist, to enshrine rule of law and actually implement it in our democracy?
Thank you. This particular question is apt for Nigeria of today. Because today you actually have the president involving himself in treasonable acts. Treasonable acts, I would say he's encouraging terrorism. When you refuse to act, you are in breach of the law. Today we have people who shoot down aircrafts, kill our soldiers. Went to the market the other day in Goronyo and killed over 149 persons. About 1 hour to the market's closure. They got there and it was an ethnically instigated action, as they have confessed. But the president does not act in line with the law because of the ethnic affinity he has to those who committed this crime. You see that? So the president have allowed a breakdown of law and order in Nigeria to the extent that The Economist listed our country as the center of a criminal enterprise at the heart of Africa. And that's why I'm telling people there is a problem. We have in Mali, the Fulani fighting the Dogon. We have in Senegal and Gambia, they are fighting the Bambara, the Wolof, the Mandinka. In Nigeria, killing the Hausa. The Yorubas form a Moteku against them, killing the TV. The Southern governors said they will not have a Northerner as president because of that strategic security consideration. Now, I see some of our elites don't understand the seriousness of the current slow motion war, which I will tell you, President Buhari, is part and parcel part of it. That's why, since he doesn't act, that means he approves of the ongoing slow motion war by his people. How would you not call a man who terrorizes the country a terrorist? Why wouldn't you call him? He terrorizes the country. He kidnaps school children. He kidnaps soldiers. The leader of the Zala sect said his people will soon acquire an anti-aircraft gun. And the other day, the Wall Street Journal said they did acquire. Nigerian army did pay money to them to retrieve the anti-aircraft gun. President Buhari, meanwhile, will do nothing, just deceitful rhetorics. That sees him in contravention of the law for ethnic considerations. Now that, the rule of law has been thrown to the dogs. Why are we doing this? And that's why I do agree with the governors who met in Lagos, in Enugu and Asaba, and said, for the sake of the country, nobody from the north should be allowed as president because none of them can stop the current Fulani insurgency. I stand on that. And that's why I speak in regards to national strategic security needs. We should not joke. There is a war on. Nigerians should wake up right now. If Nigerians are killed in Newman, Bachamas are killed, they are Nigerians. If thieves are killed, forcing Governor Autumn to cry, those are Nigerians. If Birams are killed, and today you have some 7 villages in IDP camp, those are Nigerians who should care. If Adaras and Baggies are killed in Kaduna, we should care. If Hausas are killed in Maru, in Anka, in Dangobe, in Esedawu, in Malele, in Basali, in Dutsima, in Kankara, in Musa, we should care. If Hausas are slaughtered in Goronyo, we should care. The president keeps silent because the people who are committing the killings are his people. I said it here about a fortnight ago. It took the death of General Abacha for Sergeant Rogers to come to the Putapane to confess that the government are the ones doing the forced flag operations to pretend it was Nadeko people. Today, we've had over 170 violent actions in Southeast. No single arrest. Because the arresting authority are also in line with those who commit these crimes.
Southeast or Northeast?
Southeast, I'm talking about. So if the president stays hands, what do you expect? They are going against agitators for a better society. They are not going against those who are currently committing violence against Nigerians. And then they find rhetorics to stay away from responsibility. The president and those around him are in contravention of our laws.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm not holding brief for the presidency. The presidency would tell you that Nigerians asked for the head of the military apparatus to be changed, and this was done. Just in the last 1 week, they'll tell you that another Tucano jet has been delivered. And so what precise role should the president take? Are you saying he should speak up about
it against it, or what should he do? It's another thing to give directives. I tell you. A military general told me, if the president says they should stop the violence, they will do it in less than 28 days. I said, how would you do that? He said they will first follow Governor Ganduje's instructions that those Bororo Fulanis that are coming with guns should be stopped. Nobody should come to Nigeria with guns. Because when you have gun in the bush and nobody touches you, the gun is like an aphrodisiac. You start thinking of what to do with it. But in this case, we have heard the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal saying generals actually sell weapons to these people. How come the ones who have now blown up our trains, nothing has been said? So it is not the acquisition of the fixed-wing aircraft that is the issue. No, it is having the political will to tell those in Kaduna, stop the terrorists from taking over the vicinity of the airport. I went to Kaduna. Right as I got through Cow Market, going into the airport, left and right after the airport, there were all these terrorists heading towards Biriningwari, from there to Huntua, from there to Pandagali, into Alawa, at the back of Alawa, Godongona. That's where they must stop in Godongona. If they are in Dogongona, and I know, and you can access Dogongona when they kidnap people on the Tafa area of the Abuja-Kaduna Road and force them to walk by feet for 8 to 12 hours into Dogongona. If I know that, and I know Dogongona is at the back of Padogari, at the back of Bridingwari, at the back of Alawa, why wouldn't the government know? So the government knows, but the government stays hands. If the army is allowed to do their work, my brother, our army will do their work. How come our very efficient police have not arrested anybody in over 170 violent actions in the East?
Well, again, we appreciate how passionately you've spoken about the issues going on, because there's no denying that there is insecurity in the nation. It's a war zone in supposedly peace times, and Nigerians really need to wake up to the reality, and I believe our government needs to do so as well. But it is... we need to also speak up that the allegations that you have made here today, calling the president a terrorist and all these other allegations, that he's aiding terrorists.
By refusing to act, the president is terrorist. By refusing to call the terrorist, he finds language and those around him to pain, to shake him from responsibility.
So these are your opinions and not the opinion of African Independent Television, which is in line and broadcasting in line with the NBC code. But let me bring you in here, Dare. As I said, the insecurity situation, there's no escaping it. It's there, and we're seeing it. We're experiencing it in all geopolitical zones. We spoke about this at the last show, that everyone is feeling the brunt of insecurity in the nation. Today, you're complaining that, you don't have enough to feed the IDPs. But the reality is that it could happen to anybody, regardless of your social stratification. We're in Abuja today thinking that we're protected, but the reality is, look at the train station that was just attacked, recently. So, giving that and giving the premise of this discussion, which is the rule of law, the protest, the NSAS protest, we commemorated 1 year recently, and people are agitating for their rights to peacefully protest. But the police is making a point, and I want you to weigh in on this, that due to the insecurity in the country, they cannot allow, a complete breakdown of law and order. They cannot allow citizens to still go out there and cause more harm to lives and properties. Do they have a point in, fostering security like we're calling them to do? Do they have a point in stopping these protests at these times that we have established is a war zone in peace times?
You see, it's very, very good question there. The position of the police may be right in law if it is directed to the right audience. The right audience in this sense is that if Nigerians in Anambra State, for instance, are planning to stage a protest, and the police comes out to say that we're having a security situation at hand here. We don't want a situation whereby innocent people will be killed. Please, you can suspend this until security situation is normalized. Of course, Nigerians will see sense in what the police is saying. But if somebody is telling you that you want to protest in Lagos, or you want to protest in Abuja, and you are saying you cannot protest, where do you derive that power? What is the basis for that? That's the question. What is the basis for that? Is there a crisis in Lagos? Is there a crisis in Abuja?
They'll tell you yes.
Where? We are alive here. We are alive here. We wake up every day. I wake up today, that's why I'm here. So it's not, you see, the right to protest. What is even protest? What is protest? Protest is giving expression to your grievance. It could be verbal, it could be written, it can even be by lawful assembly, and then display of placard saying that, okay, this policy must change. It is the duty of the police to provide security for those who are lawfully assemble to ensure that government policy that is not in their favor or that they think is not good for the populace is changed. Any police officer that is sane should encourage that. But let's address the issue the way it is. You see, the issue goes beyond the what do you call it? The unfounded excuses that police is coming out with. The issue goes, let me tell you the core issue, the cross of this matter. The cross of this matter is that we have a police institution that is jaundiced. Jaundiced in the sense that for you to have the police that you find in UK, that you find in the United States, that you find in Italy, or any sane environment, any sane climate in the world, there are about 4 or 5 basic things that government should look into. 1, you must look into the recruitment process. A situation where a president of the Senate will give names of 500 candidates to the Police Service Commission or to the IG, and nobody will question the integrity or the background of these people before they are conscripted, is a fundamental issue. All these political office holders, they have candidates when it comes to the issue of recruitment of this. It's not a matter of police alone. It applies to all security agents. I remember during the former, what's his name, the Chief of Army Staff, there was an allegation that about 500 candidates were employed from Borno, and they were his candidates. I don't know whether that is true or false, but of course we read that in the press. You understand what I'm talking about? The second point is the issue of training. Apart from the recruitment process, the issue of training is very, very important. What the police displays today is the training that they receive from the colonial mentality. That has to be changed. The police that the military used, the British used while they were here, was those police were conscripted for the purpose of oppression, nothing more. So the mentality, this colonial mentality, has to change. They should see the people they protect as part of them. They should see the people as a primary duty in terms of protection, not to bully. Then the third point is the issue of welfare. I will tell you today, there is no the lowest rank policeman in the United Kingdom receives as much as 13 to 14 million naira basic salary in a year. In Nigeria, the lowest rank police officer in Nigeria does not receive up to 500,000 naira.
So I think this is very interesting, Saz, and this is a topic which we need to bring you back on because a lot of vital points have been made, and I can see both of you still have a lot of
so
points
much to say.
to make.
So let's give you 30 seconds, just 30 seconds, Catch, just to round up quickly so we can wrap up the program.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would love President Buhari to embrace the country and to see all of us as one. That way, if there's a crisis in Sokoto, in Ibadan, in Enugu, in Calabar, in Maiduguri, he sees it as people who he should cater to as his constituents.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. That's a great place to leave it. Thank you both so much for your time. That's all the time we have on today's program. Do follow us on social media at TOS TV Network, The Weekend Show, Usasu Igbenajan, Andy Madaki on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Till next time, stay blessed.
Thank you for having us.